China's economic decline and social instability have increased the Chinese Communist Party's sense of insecurity, leading to more stringent measures to maintain control. Surveillance on citizens is now ubiquitous, resulting in the creation of a special organization known as community workers. These workers are essentially low-level spies employed by the state. They constantly patrol neighborhoods, monitoring residents and their interactions with outsiders. The public refers to them as the party's guardian army. Previously, regulations mainly targeted foreigners, but now they also apply to Chinese citizens. If a guest stays at your home for a few days, the homeowner must report to the authorities, detailing who the guest is and how long they will stay, including children. Failure to comply results in penalties. According to a report from Southern Metropolis Daily on July 10th, a netizen in Shenzhen posted on social media stating, "A friend came to Shenzhen looking for a job and stayed at my place for a few days. I forgot to report this to the landlord and was fined 500 yuan. The incident occurred in Longhua District, Shenzhen. The fine was imposed on Mr. Li, the landlord, for failing to promptly report the guest's information to the community grid manager. Mr. Li told reporters that the fine was discovered during a routine evening check by community police and grid workers. According to the Shenzhen Special Economic Zone residence permit regulations, if the responsible party fails to report or falsely reports non-local residence registration information, a fine of 500 yuan per unreported or falsely reported person will be imposed. This incident surprised many netizens and made landlords anxious. A landlord warned in a WeChat group saying, "Dear tenants, 1. If there are new residents, including children, staying in the house, you must provide their ID and phone number to the landlord within 3 days, who will then report it to the network administrator. 2. If any new resident moves out, including children, you must inform the landlord to deregister their residence information. 3. If you don't comply and the police find unregistered residents, there will be a fine of 500 yuan per person, which the individual must pay. This has already happened in our building. 4. Please ensure compliance to avoid penalties." Many netizens are confused and critical of these regulations, calling them rogue laws of a rogue state. Comments include, "Measures originally for foreigners are now used on our own people." In this day and age, visiting friends and relatives requires hotel-like registration. Even the freedom to live has become a luxury. To the authorities, visiting friends is seen as potential spying. Chaoyang, Taipei bureau chief of Japan's Sankei Shimbun, mentioned that the absurd era of Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution has returned. He wrote on Facebook, "Throughout history, dictators have always feared that the people want to harm it." The so-called community police and grid workers mentioned above were established by the CCP a few years ago to expand its surveillance system. These stability maintenance informants have evolved into community workers similar to the pandemic-era dabai, or big whites, with special government-granted privileges, functioning as a civilian guardian army. These workers patrol neighborhoods and can conduct home visits, closely monitoring residents' interactions, especially with foreigners. In 2024, the General Office of the CCP Central Committee and the General Office of the State Council issued opinions on strengthening the community workers team. This policy clarified that community workers are full-time employees engaged in party building, governance, and service in the community, managed by the newly established Central Social Work Department. In August 2019, the South China Morning Post reported that Paul Bischoff, an editor at Comparitech, believed, "Today, China uses CCTV and face recognition to restrict freedom of movement. People can be placed on blacklists that restrict certain types of travel." Despite the CCP's extensive surveillance, it still relies heavily on the grassroots power of ordinary citizens. On April 18th this year, Ming-Xin Pei, a professor of government at Claremont McKenna College, shared his new book, The Sentinel State, at an event at the University of California, San Diego. In his book, he mentions that although the CCP has advanced surveillance systems using big data and artificial intelligence, its real monitoring capability comes from a complex network of surveillance organizations and a large number of personnel. Based on his research and analysis, Pei estimates that there are between 10 and 15 million community workers in China. However, netizens believe the actual number is much higher. On July 1, 2023, the CCP began implementing a new anti-espionage law, expanding the scope of the previous law. Monitoring transient populations became a key method to prevent espionage. Under the new law, Any new faces in the community, whether from abroad or another province, are considered potential spies. Full-time community workers act like secret agents, mainly spying on people's privacy, following suspicious pedestrians, and looking for spies among the visitors. They report valuable information to the CCP police or national security. To encourage people to report suspected spies, some local police departments have made promotional videos promising rewards of up to 500,000 yuan for information leading to an arrest. The video suggests that it could just be a passerby. If someone acts suspiciously with a camera or posts inappropriate comments online, they might be worth 500,000 yuan, or $6,873 US. These promotional videos, titled Searching for the Walking 500,000, quickly became popular online. The allure of earning 500,000 yuan while serving the party and the country is strong, as this amount represents years of income for an average Chinese family. Many netizens now feel that visiting friends is like being a thief, constantly under watchful eyes, hoping to find the walking 500,000. Staying at a friend's or relative's house feels as troublesome as checking into a hotel. For those deemed unstable by the CCP, such as dissidents or petitioners facing injustice, travel becomes an invisible prison. According to Voice of America, dissident Meng, who participated in the White Hair movement, left Wuhan before the anniversary of June 4th and settled in Kunming. However, within a week, state security and local police constantly monitored and persuaded him to return home, even offering financial incentives. Mr. Han from Qingdao, Shandong, who is a community worker, revealed to Voice of America that people who have lived abroad for a long time and visit residents are a primary focus for community workers. According to Article 39 of the Exit and Entry Administration Law of the People's Republic of China, hotels must register foreigners' accommodations according to public security regulations and submit the information to local police. If foreigners stay in other accommodations, the host or the guest must register with the local police within 24 hours. Failing to register foreign guests at home is illegal and subject to penalties. A Chinese Canadian visiting relatives in China posted on Xiaohongshu that he arrived at his parents' home on a Saturday night, and by Monday the police came because the community reported a foreigner staying there. The police checked his documents and relationship with the homeowner and warned that failing to register could result in a 2,000 yuan fine and immediate registration. China's highly efficient secret informants also alarmed a Chinese-Australian man. Last year, Mr. Wang from Sydney visited China during his holiday. At a friend's request, he visited the friend's elderly parents in Shanghai and brought them some Australian specialties. However, as soon as he left the community, even before getting into a taxi, he was stopped by two plainclothes policemen and taken to the police station. They inspected his passport and questioned him about his job in Australia, his relationship with the elderly couple, and the nature of their conversation. Mr. Wang later wrote on Facebook, "I really disappointed the hunters because I am not the walking 500,000. China's grassroots intelligence network is not new. It's just that the government has recently formalized and expanded these civilian groups into official organizations, akin to state employees. One of the most famous grassroots intelligence networks is the Chaoyang masses in Beijing. According to Chinese media, the People's Daily published an article in 1972 titled "The Capture of Soviet Spies," highlighting how the Chaoyang masses helped the police arrest 6 Soviet spies, bringing them instant fame. The main members of the Chaoyang masses are retirees, often referred to as the Chaoyang aunties. These elderly individuals wear red armbands, stroll around their neighborhoods, or sit chatting on street benches, seemingly ordinary but with a suspicious eye. They see everyone in the community as potential threats to the government. Many celebrity scandals have been exposed with their help. Apart from informing the police, Chaoyang aunties also help authorities prevent activists or petitioners from staying in Beijing. They have become a crucial part of Beijing's public security. Groups like them now exist across China. Hubei activist Wu Lijuan told Radio Free Asia that Chaoyang aunties are widespread, including in many parts of Hubei. They often cooperate closely with local police. She revealed that she has been followed and monitored by Chaoyang aunties, which included her neighbors. According to official statistics, as of 2021, there were over 230,000 community security volunteers in Beijing's Chaoyang district alone. In 2017, Chinese President Xi Jinping praised the Chaoyang masses during his visit to Beijing, saying, "Where there are more red armbands, there is more security and peace of mind." Public opinion suggests that the Chaoyang masses are deeply loyal to the party. During the Cultural Revolution, they were Red Guards, Mao Zedong's tools for persecution, who were praised by Mao. Now older, they continue to serve as the CCP's Red Force and have earned Xi Jinping's commendation. As more people fall victim to reports from the Chaoyang masses, public opinion humorously labels this unique Chinese informant group as the world's fifth major intelligence agency. This puts Chaoyang masses alongside the CIA, the KGB, Mossad, and MI6, ranking them fifth. This nickname has gained official support. According to a Xinhua news agency report, the Beijing Public Security Bureau's official Weibo account, Ping'an Beijing, posted a message, a step-by-step guide on how to become part of the Chaoyang masses. The report states, whether in cities or rural areas, this world's fifth major intelligence agency seems to be everywhere but is nameless and faceless. The report provided an example of how the Chaoyang masses operate. A 73-year-old woman, Sun Zhongfeng, patrols her building's entrance with her friends, watching everyone who comes and goes. Sun Zhongfeng said, "I saw a young man I didn't recognize carrying something into our building. I asked him, 'Where are you going?' He said, 'Upstairs,' but didn't specify which floor, so I followed him. It turns out he was a new tenant." She added, "If there's a problem, I immediately report it to the community police." The police commented, "The Chaoyang masses are very secretive, and we protect informants' privacy." Political science professor Feng Chengyi at the University of Technology, Sydney, stated that the Chaoyang masses are a form of social mobilization that has existed since the CCP's founding. He believes the true identity of the Chaoyang masses may not always be community residents. Sometimes the government uses supposed civilian reports to achieve certain goals. Professor Feng said, during the Cultural Revolution, law enforcement power was given to mass organizations. If someone spoke inappropriately or used a newspaper with Mao Zedong's picture disrespectfully, they could be taken to the police by civilians. Nowadays, it's more covert. It may not be civilians reporting, but secret police or the police themselves fabricating civilian reports to target someone. The Chaoyang masses have evolved into community workers who are officially community members but include many plainclothes policemen, facilitating illegal activities by the police. A netizen named Ms. Luo, who experienced interrogation, said, "Community workers are like the pandemic's big whites. When they suspect you, they don't follow legal procedures. A group surrounds you, claims it's for national security, and forces you to show ID and answer questions, sometimes even getting physical." Ms. Luo added, "They act and speak like police, but won't admit they are." Other netizens say, the CCP government's tactic of pitting the masses against each other to maintain control is nothing new. By inciting the public to suspect and report each other under the guise of catching spies and criminals, the CCP aims to eliminate any dissent or unfavorable actions against it. On April 26th, the CCP National Security Agency released the Regulations on Administrative Law Enforcement Procedures and the Regulations on Handling Criminal Cases. Both documents were effective July 1st. The former grants law enforcement the power to inspect citizens' electronic devices, while the latter extends jurisdiction over Chinese citizens' actions overseas, expanding the scope and locations of violations. The CCP's continuous tightening of control measures indicates its awareness of its shaky authoritarian regime and its desperate attempts to maintain power.